Off JaWaggon, a popular leftist creator on TikTok who has amassed nearly 1 million followers, was called out or accused by Mandy Rae, another left-leaning TikToker. We're going to watch her video and we're going to read his statement. So we're going to read the statement that he posted to his TikTok account. And just to preface the situation, he never posted it to his other channels or accounts where he actually earns more money. So keep that in mind. In regards to recent accusations, I want to start by saying I'm incredibly sorry to the people I have hurt and people I let down. Being intoxicated does not change any behavior that was mine and my responsibility. And while my recollection of the accusations are limited, I believe and take responsibility for them. I am deeply ashamed of my actions at the bar, the pain I have caused, and the disappointment I am to myself and all those who trust I violated. I am seeking counseling and will be taking a step back. My sincerest apologies, everyone. And then so she's going to talk about this quick.
Violated that. Yesterday, Jordan released this statement with regards to the accusations that have been made against him. I am here to say that I am essentially victim A. I'm the person who came forward first.
And I have read that there were other people as well, 3 or 4 women, depending on who you ask. I'm not exactly sure. This is the only video or the only person out there that I could find that actually accused of him of anything or said anything. There was another gentleman who talked about like his vibe and how he was a crappy person about a year ago as well, but it seems unrelated to this.
This statement, which is really not taking accountability, he says, and while my recollection of the accusations are limited, I believe and take responsibility for them. So now let me tell you my recollection because it's pretty fucking vivid. Friday, January 16th, we were all out in Chicago. We had all had some drinks. We convened at this bar at the end of the night, and at the back of the bar was Jordan and his friend sitting in a booth behind a table. I come back there. Jordan's like, come on. And they make room. And I remember getting a vibe. I could tell Jordan was super drunk. Like my spidey senses. And I saw the space. I go, my ass isn't going to fit there. Like I was trying to like be just like, I'm just going to stand. But they were like, no, come on. So I against my better judgment, sat down. It's important to note I had this big winter coat and it was in my lap. That will be important in a minute. So we're sitting there. Jordan and I get talking immediately about Minnesota. I think his hand was like this at one point, and we were talking and it was like familiar. We've been friends for a long time. I thought I could trust him. I didn't think anything of it.
I appreciate you coming to me. I was certainly very intoxicated and have little recollection. That's no excuse. We were in a crowded bar, and from what my buddy who was there with us said, there was some consensual flirting that ended at the bar. I talked to the accuser who said it was consensual flirting but went a little too far. I apologized profusely and took accountability with her for my actions. Then this happened. This all was in public. I have always said believe women, so I'm choosing to believe even though it's very hard for me at the moment, as obviously you never expect to be the one they are saying believe women about. I'm going to put out a statement. I'm so incredibly ashamed.
When he broke it down for somebody else, he asked his friend what had happened, and it was like, it was just flirty. I could see that. I could see how that was the point of view from them. His hand was on my thigh, and it did kind of move north, and I did, push it up, but I was not, he was drunk, and we were just talking. I did not think he would cross the line. My friend Ross comes over, he hands me a little toy car. Now, I'm such a nerd. I thought this little car was so cute, and I am sorry, I forgot it, Ross. I think you'll understand why in a minute. So I'm sitting there playing with it. My hands are occupied. I have a coat in my lap, and under my coat, I feel Jordan shove his hand in my pants. Now, I stopped it before it got to the desired location, I imagine, but I fawned. I didn't know what to do. I was like, Jordan, no, we're not doing that. And I just remember him being like, yeah, we're not doing that. I didn't know what to do because I was so fucking caught off guard. But they wouldn't have seen it because I had this fucking coat here. Do you not think I wish I'd have made a goddamn scene? I wish I would have fought. I wish I would have said something. I wish I would have not had a coat in my lap so they would have seen what he did. Absolutely. But I didn't. And so I saw an opportunity to get up. When people were going to karaoke, I saw him go over and start kind of like dancing and not paying attention. And I saw my friend Maggie, Mermaid Maggie, I love you. I said, do you want to get out of here? And she said, yeah. So we bounced. And I'm glad I did, because as we were leaving to hit that Uber, I remember the sensation of like, I don't want him with us because I don't trust him. And I was like looking over my shoulder, hoping he wouldn't see us leaving. That says so much. I was processing what had happened in real fucking time, and I was scared of him seeing us leave. That says so fucking much. So we left and we got to the hotel, and I was right, because you know what he did? He called me and wanted my room number. And I said, Jordan, I am not giving you my room number. And he repeatedly was asking me no less than fucking 10 times, saying things like, oh, I just want to come hang out. It'll be fine. And I'm like, that we both know that's not true. Go to bed. You'll thank me in the morning. Go to bed. I said no at least 10 times. He disregarded.
I think that's a huge point, right? Initially, she had said no when he put his hands in her pants, which he never should have done in the first place. I don't think it's really that difficult to just, ask if, especially in a public situation like that, you shouldn't be putting your hands in somebody's pants. If it has progressed into, something more and you're in a private place, it doesn't hurt to just be like, hey, do you want to? Or something along those lines, right? Something that actually leads up to that, but just stuffing your hands in someone's pants. And then in this situation, she obviously takes off, right? She is uncomfortable. She leaves. She removes herself from the situation when he's not paying attention. And obviously, this situation as well is quite difficult to deal with right then and there in the very moment. And then here, he's basically begging her for him to come over.
Consent at least 10 times. I finally said, Jordan, you're drunk. Go to bed. Good night. And I hung up. I woke up in the morning to find that he had tried to call me and he had said, oh, I can't get into my room. Bullshit. Go to the front desk. But he.
So she says there as well that she obviously declined his invites to come over multiple times and then woke up to him saying that he couldn't get in, which obviously sounds like manipulation to me, right? Some way for him to just get her alone in the hotel room, which obviously is very, very uncomfortable. It's quite a dangerous situation, especially after what had happened already in a public place.
No, like I was going to let him in mine. I wasn't feeling 100%. I never drink. So like any leaves me with like a migraine and ickiness. So my friend Matt, USMC in Grady, who's like my brother and one of my best friends, stopped by with some Sprite and some popcorn. And I said, something happened with Jordan last night. And I need to tell you. And I said, we were at the bar. His hand was on my thigh. It escalated. I left. We got back. And then he called and would not accept no for an answer. I didn't let him in my room, but he tried over and over and over.
Also, I wanted to add to that part as well, where he's repeatedly asking over and over again. Coercion does not negate the initial no, the not interested, right? If you ask over and over again and then get a yes, that doesn't mean that she consented. It means that you eventually wore her down. And I know that's such a hard concept for quite a lot of people, unfortunately, but in these instances, begging over and over again eventually does lead to people breaking down and they just give in.
And Matt didn't know what had exactly happened, but he knew that that was a violation even in and of itself. I expected Jordan to talk to me Saturday. I thought he'd ask me what happened. I thought he would talk to me about what he did, but he didn't. Didn't talk to me Sunday, didn't talk to me Monday, didn't talk to me Tuesday until I had had enough of the silence and I texted him and said, dude, this is what you did. And again, even in that, I said, it was a little flirty and then it escalated and I bounced. I wasn't ready to admit what he had done, but I was stressing like you didn't accept consent. When I said no.
In his statement, he says that he doesn't recall much, if any, of the accusations at all. And to me, it seems like more so that he was actually guilty and he felt at least sort of guilty about the situation, because somebody who's supposed to be your friend is going to probably reach out prior to 3 days later when she reached out, right? He would have said something like, hey, it was good to see you, or hey, this event that we were at, etc., etc. Hey, the bar, whatever. He would have said something along those lines within that time period before she ended up actually speaking up. So he at least remembers more than he is letting on.
About the room. So he calls me and I replay the whole thing. And again, I say, we were at the bar. You had your hand on my thigh. It escalated and I left. Do you think he asked me what he did? No. Nope. Didn't ask me what the escalation was. Now imagine if that were me and somebody said to me, you were drunk, it escalated, I left. Like whatever it was bad enough that that person just fucking bounced. I would have been like, what did I do?
I've had my fair share of way too many drinks before, and that's generally how that conversation goes. I hit up my friend, I go, hey, what the hell did I do last night? Why does this hurt? Why do I have a black eye? Etc. I always check in, right? Even with my girlfriend, we had a conversation actually over the summer because I may have had too many drinks and she had to take care of me. And then I woke up and we had a conversation about it first thing in the morning. And then I said, oh no, what else? Right? Like it's just a natural reaction when you accidentally drink too much.
He didn't ask. And I think that's when I finally had enough pretending that that's all it was. In fact, he was more worried about who I had told. He said it wasn't my fault and that he accepted responsibility, but also he was drunk and didn't remember things. But also, hey, who did you tell? So I called Matt after. And I said, Matt, I said, did I tell you what the escalation was? Because I just kept calling it an escalation for 4 days. Because I didn't want to admit what my friend had done. God damn it, I didn't want to cry on the internet. And he said, no, I figured you'd tell me when you were ready. I said, he put his hand in my pants and he got fucking mad. He's like, Mandy, that is sexual assault. And I said, I know. I said, I stopped it and I left and I did everything I could. I did everything right. But yeah, I know. And I said, should I call Jordan and tell him? Because he claims he doesn't remember. He's like, it's up to you. But yeah. And I called Jordan. I said, Jordan, you know, I said there was an escalation. And I asked you, do you remember what happened? Because you didn't ask me. Didn't ask me what the escalation was. Do you remember? He's like, no. I said, you put your hand in my pants, Jordan. That's what you did. And he didn't really have much to say. Again, he kept just saying, I'm so sorry. I don't remember, but I take responsibility. I said, I don't know what to do.
And generally with these kind of things, like especially, you know, high profile creators and stuff, these type of accusations come out and generally there's, you know, no proof whatsoever. But I think his self-admitting statement is proof enough. Finally came out, he said something, and him being like, I don't remember much, I'm going to take accountability regardless, this and that. I think he's trying to like placate it a little bit, obviously. But in my opinion, I think that's enough evidence right there. It might not be enough for a conviction, right? But I think in the court of public opinion, he is guilty. And he has since lost thousands and thousands of followers on his TikTok channel. And the people in Mandy's comments and other comments of other creators talking about this situation are extremely disappointed and have chosen to no longer follow him.
With this, I have to go, and I let him go. The Chicago group found out what had happened. Other people came forward. I will not speak on their behalf. Their stories are never going to be mine to tell. But they came forward for me to corroborate my experience so that I knew I wasn't alone. I was the one who had someone.
And so with her saying that other people came forward, again, like I said in the very beginning, I think I saw 3 or 4, but there is quite literally nothing that I could find of anybody else with accusations. So for right now, in my opinion, this is the only one. And, you know, maybe something else will come out later, or maybe they will go to the police about it.
It was only me that I'm aware of that he tried to put his hand down their pants. I've seen some videos of people saying all 4 women. No, that happened to me. There were varying things that happened to other women that were deeply inappropriate or crossed a line, but that was what he did to me, his friend. Which brings us to today. I saw this video from this woman who is super fucking self-righteous and trying to defend Jordan by saying, well, he's been in the trenches. It is giving grab him by the pussy. I'm rich and I can do this. What the fuck are you talking about? She said,
the guy was in the trenches in Minneapolis. Have you been there?
And to that I say, yes, I have. I have been in the fucking trenches, ma'am. I have been fighting this, as has every woman that was involved. And it wouldn't matter if we were or we weren't. You don't get to give a pass for sexual assault to somebody just because they're doing one thing good. I came forward because we as creators have incredible access to people, many who are vulnerable. They look up to us. They trust us. And I didn't want anyone else to experience this, because also at a lot of these things there's alcohol. And it's clear, Jordan, that you have a problem. And I hope you get help. I really fucking do.
I'm also inclined to back her story up about the alcohol problem. This is not the first video and not the only creator who's talking about his alcohol problem, bar fights, instances where he got too drunk, etc. I'm definitely inclined to believe that he does have a drinking problem.
Because I have been absolutely destroyed by this. She also asked this.
Jolly Ginger, where are you guys at? I want to get some support for this man.
And I hope it's okay that I answer, but Jolly was on the phone checking on me. The amount of people who have checked on me. Because Jolly understood that what happened to me was never okay. And it wasn't my fault. So you want to know where Jolly is? Why he's not on here defending someone? It's because he was checking on me. I never wanted this. I'm getting nothing from this. I'm not even monetized on this account. So before you're all like, it's over a minute, she's making me, no, the fuck I'm not. I never wanted this. This doesn't benefit me. And lying? I have no reason to lie. There's nothing I'm gaining. I have lost so much. Now, as far as my friendship with Jordan. That's done. I've removed any videos of us, any content that we have made together, because honestly, it's really fucking traumatizing to see. I don't want those memories. I thought I knew Jordan. I didn't do this to hurt him. I didn't do this to cancel him. I did this because women could be harmed based on the patterns of behaviors we saw. And I did this because I knew what he did to me. I don't want there to be someone else who gives him their room number. Jordan needs help. And based on his statement, he says he's going to get it. I'm not pressing charges at this time. I'm not ruling out anything. And if he gets help, great. And if he doesn't, there are things on the table. So I really hope he does. But he will never be my friend.
The only thing that really rubbed me wrong about this video was just that last piece that you heard right there, was like I'm not pressing charges at this time. He said he's going to get help, but if he doesn't, then there's things on the table. I don't know. It came off a little bit performative, but obviously his admission of guilt that's posted directly on his profile is, well, reason enough, evidence enough, at least in my opinion, and very clearly many other people's opinions. I think this is a terrible situation. And, you know, at the end of the day, she thought he was her friend, right? They thought they were buddies, whatever. She sits down at the table, and yes, he was very drunk, but that doesn't excuse it. And then at the end of the day as well, she sat down, but again, that's not an invitation to put your hand in someone's pants. Sleeping with somebody is not an invitation to sleep with them, to touch them, to grope them, etc. Just because somebody is being flirty with you does not give you the right to touch them. And it doesn't make a difference if you're a man or a woman. If you are touching somebody and they don't want to be touched, that is 100% on you, right? It's fully a different story if there is a genuine lead up to this situation, because I know people are going to comment on that as well. It kills the mood to ask, etc. Generally, there is very clear signs if it's going to move forward with something like that, right? But in a bar, in a public place with somebody you deem your friend, is definitely not the place to be doing something like that.